It's Saturday, the 28th of November, 2020. In this match reaction show, I'm joined by Nick and Jeff to go over what we've just witnessed, which was Harrogate Town 0, Blackpool 4 in the second round of the FA Cup. Away at Harrogate. I'm John Aspinall, and this is the Seasiders podcast match reaction. Harrogate 0, Blackpool 4. I've just repeated myself.
Volleys already changed the world. A small town from the north of England with a great tradition.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Seasiders podcast match reaction show. We're coming back on back of a 4-0 win, and it's not very often we get to say that. We're joined this evening by Nick. Good evening, Nick.
Good evening, John. Good evening, everyone.
Have you just been playing tennis?
Yeah.
Like Ivan Lendl.
It is. It's a retro 80s Ivan Lendl Adidas track top, this. Yeah.
I was about to say, playing tennis is illegal, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah.
Just been wearing it for fashion purposes, I guess.
Of course.
Joining us all the way from Colorado, isn't it, Jeff?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Jeff, I like that third kit. I'm going to get one of them. It looks really smart, doesn't it? Jeff Embry, thanks for joining us, Jeff, all the way from the USNA. What time is it over there?
It is just about 11, so it's a good start to the day.
I saw the pics that you've sent over from the snow mass. It's all forming over there, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Opened up a couple of days ago, so I got to get the skis out, and I'm walking up on my skis for early morning.
Excellent. Are you allowed? Are you all actually allowed out at the moment over there? What's the lockdown situation like?
Yeah, they'll let us out. It's difficult here in the States because you've got every single county in every single state across the country is doing its own thing. So there's absolutely no coordination.
So what's going on in Colorado then? What's your
we're doing
rules?
okay. Schools are staying open, so that's all good. Locally, we're doing all right, but Aspen's a pretty small town. So if anybody goes down with COVID here, they're getting airlifted somewhere else. And the problem is the hospitals are all, hospitals on the western slope and the Front Range are pretty close to full right now. So we're doing okay here, but if anybody goes down, there's nowhere to send them.
In trouble. So
yeah.
What did your state vote? Just out of interest. We'll get onto the football in a minute. Biden or Trump?
Biden.
Biden, oh, good.
Yeah.
We were all pleased by that. We were over here. Well, I was anyway.
It was a big sigh of relief, I can tell you that.
Yeah,
My goodness.
Yeah. Get a bit of normality back.
Yeah. And
a bit of normality back on the iFollow streams, wasn't it, gents, this morning? Sorry, this is early afternoon. We've all tuned in to iFollow. I'm just going to bring this up first. And yet again, Nick, we're having these synchronization commentary problems.
Yeah, it's a regular feature, isn't it? It doesn't matter whether you've got, I think, the away commentary on or the home commentary or mine. I got commentary from Bolton Southend at one point. All of a sudden,
really?
Going, he's going down the right. What a chance! And I was like, "Who's this?" And I think it mentioned Fonz, and I was like, "What's going on?"
Have a step back in time here.
Weird, yeah. And then you've got Chizzy either 5 seconds behind or 5 seconds ahead. I think you're just best off muting it, to be honest, and just watching it with no sound. Or they sorted it out for the second half, but yeah, it's not great. I think we all filled a survey in the last couple of days. I know I did. It was pinging around one of the WhatsApp groups for your iFollow experience, whether it'll make any difference. But I would think everybody who filled it in was saying pretty much the same thing, that it was, the answer to every question was very poor, pretty much. Even if you manage to get it working, it's the commentary, buffering, and I'm not convinced it's, as the club said, it's less than 1%, and it's mainly user error, because it just seems to be. You look on social media, you look on Twitter, and it's just all over people saying how poor it is.
It's across the clubs as well, isn't it? It's not just
it's not unique to Blackpool, that's for sure. Whether it's a case of there's that many people now using it, and it was probably, not originally designed for that. It wasn't designed with COVID in mind, was it? It was for for people like Jeff overseas, maybe. But now it's your only way of watching a game, isn't it? So it's perhaps a case of servers being overloaded or whatever it might be, and that's what's causing it. But they need to do something about it, that's for sure.
How is it stateside, Jeff?
With the chat, it seemed like we were all on the same page with it. It was poor picture quality, audio and video not syncing together. It's just, to be honest, it's never been great, but it's my only option to watch the matches anyway. If I can get over to watch a match, it's maybe once every couple of years. So, this is how I watch. But one thing I was thinking is that they get the audio from the radio stations generally, don't they? So if you've got one company providing the audio and one company providing the video, and they're trying to stitch them together, it seems like it's inevitable you're going to have these problems. So I think someone said in the chat, why not just do there is no crowd noise at the moment, but why not just do no audio?
Yeah, it's a decent shout, and I think Sam mentioned that the clubs can actually provide their own commentary teams if they wish to do that, and I think that's an option the club needs to look at exploring if that is a possibility, because what you've just said, there's obviously two different groups of people, one serving the audio, one serving the video, and I guess if they're together, they wouldn't come up with these problems. I mean, synchronizing video and audio, it's not that difficult. And I can't, for the life of me, understand why they're not getting it right. And it needs sorting anyway.
There's just a question popped up from Bison's, Jeff, and it says, is it worse than it used to be? So obviously you've been using it for a lot longer than us. Has it got worse from this season with so many more people watching it, do you think?
No, I don't think so. But,
it's always been this bad then, Jeff, yeah.
Yeah, but, when it's one of the few people, I don't have a handle on how many people are watching Blackpool on iFollow around the world. I'm sure it's not a huge number, but it's been, I suppose if you can say one thing, it's been consistent. Everything the club's done since Simon took over has been absolutely first class, but I think that iFollow answer really kind of landed wrong, didn't it? I don't know if they'd want to take that back, but it's way more than 1% that's having issues.
Yeah. It annoyed a lot of people that comment. It annoyed me anyway. It was it was dodging the issue and it was passing the buck. So, like Jeff said there, they want to look at that again, that comment perhaps, and maybe try and take some token steps forward, because I do listen to Darren McAntony's podcast, and everyone else. It was called The Hard Truth, and he was brutally honest with his reports of it. He said it's been an absolute nightmare. And if they could, they'd chuck the fucker in the bin. Those were his exact words. So Dara's approach and presentation of the facts is a bit different to that of Linton Brown. Right, shall we get on to the game? Blackpool's lineup, Nick. Let's just come to you first. I've got a little graphic. I've nicked it off their feed. Well, hide us for a minute. There you go.
Where's it gone, John? Where's the team lineup gone?
It's behind us. Oh, I put it in the wrong bit. Hang on a minute. You just talk amongst yourselves while we upload it.
Did you expect many changes, Jeff, today to the lineup?
I was expecting just a couple. I know there was a lot of talk about who's going to be the two centre backs. And, after Tuesday, you could see probably either of them being dropped. But, Marvin, what a change from the first game of the season. You remember when he was playing, where were we? Away at Portsmouth, was it?
With Nottingham playing
with
as
Nottingham
well.
In the middle, yeah. He looks a completely different player now, doesn't he? So not surprised to see Ballard come in. I was surprised to see Yates not start. I don't know what you two thought about that.
I think maybe I was thinking about that, Nick. I think he was just rested in, perhaps.
Yeah, quite possibly. I thought he might have rested Kenny Dougal as well, possibly.
Yeah, he looked a bit leggy, didn't he, last game?
Did on Tuesday. So they've had a few days to recover, haven't they? They've maybe just gone light in training. Obviously, Grant Ward back in. Keshi Anderson came in. Ben Woodburn as well. I did wonder whether Kemp might start, but he'd made the bench. So
good to see Garbett back in for me, Nick.
Yeah,
it's good that he's back, and I've not really seen much of him, to be honest. So I was quite looking forward to seeing him play.
Well, no, he got injured early, didn't he? And obviously he's dropped Turton as well, and given Gabriel a chance. So that was good to see, because I thought he looked good going forward. He definitely gives us a bit more of attacking option, and I thought Garbett did as well. And his we'll come on to it, but his set piece delivery as the game went on was really good. So. Yeah.
Any more comments on the lineup, Jeff, before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, piggybacking on what Nick said, I think Garbett really made the difference today with his set pieces, didn't he? We're talking about, how bad we've been on set pieces all season, and then Garbett comes in and we're told how good he is on set pieces, and then he gets injured. Well, hopefully this is a sign of things to come.
Yeah, he was renowned for his set piece delivery and scored a lot of goals from free kicks previous season, so who'd have thought we'd get one straight from the corner? Right, let's quick look at the match stats just before we kick off. All right, if I click that, and unclick the overlay now, that's not working. Let's just go on to the game then. I'll work out how to use this properly. Right, on to the game, Nicholas. Blackpool started. Just one thing I want to bring up before we start the game. It kind of ruined the first half for me, the stream, because for the first 20 or so minutes, you're thinking it's your own error. You're flicking around the audios, you're resetting it, you're on the chat to the EFL chat who keep telling you to log out and log in again, or turn your computer off, turn it off again.
Turn it on, yeah.
So the first half kind of I couldn't really study it that much, but the first couple of things I did notice with a couple of potato errors. Sorry, you bigging him up before Harry, Jeff. He made one excellent clearance, but it was to recover from an error of his own, and he was playing the ball across the back of his own penalty box again, messing about. So we were lucky, really, not to go 1 down early doors. Yeah,
possibly. He did look a little bit shaky at times, but I think I'd agree with Jeff. I think he's improved massively from the start of the season. Yeah. I think it'll help having Ballard in there with him. If it's going to be those two regularly, we'll see. But and that recovery tackle he made, it had to be perfect, didn't it? Or else you're giving a penalty away and possibly a red card. So we'll give him credit for that.
Yeah.
He's still a young guy, isn't he? And he's still learning the game at this level. So I think the only way he's, if he's got a mistake in him, you've just got to let him. For me, he's got to carry on playing, because I think he'll get better, and hopefully he will eliminate that from his game.
Just needs to learn to not mess about with the ball as much at the back. Our first chant of note, Jeff, was on 20 minutes. Mr. Woodburn, good work from CJ Hamilton. On the right-hand side, played it into him, and not the best of finishes, really.
No, it wasn't. I think it just speaks to his lack of match time so far.
Do you think it's a lack of confidence and match time as well, perhaps?
I don't know. It might be both. I mean, he came in with a big reputation, didn't he? I think he just needs more time, and it's really easy to kind of dismiss someone if they're not delivering. But I think what this season is telling us is that we have to be really patient. We still don't know what our best lineup is. We've got players that haven't come back, that haven't started a game yet. You've got Matty V that hasn't come back yet. And it could be January, February before we find out what our best team is.
There was a second chance after that, Nick. Don't know if you remember this one. Again, good work from Hamilton down the right-hand side. Ball played into the 6-yard box. Madine, side foot volley just wide. It was a good chance, but a decent finish. Just unlucky not to hit the target.
Yeah. He was running onto it, wasn't he? And just the wrong side of the post. it wasn't a brilliant first half, was it? There wasn't, a lot. And similar to you, the first 15 to 20 minutes, you're checking your phone every 5 seconds, clicking in on and off things. It does affect your concentration, and especially when the commentary is not in sync. And then that coupled with the fact that it wasn't a brilliant first half, I thought they were sitting back, weren't they? Really, Hamilton was beating his man time and time again. In that first half, it was just maybe the final ball into the box that was perhaps lacking. I think that's a feature of his game, though, isn't it? He's giving the ball. He'll always beat his man, and then I think they eventually not work him out, but they tend to double up on him, don't they? And it may be, it just he's our main outlet, and when they do double up on him, we lose that attacking impetus a bit, I think. But they were sitting back as well, so that didn't make for a brilliant half of football.
I think both teams were just trying to work each other out in that first half, and like you've said, the fact we're having all these technical problems, that didn't help either. So there was a final incident that I've just noted down here that kind of made me laugh in the final minute of the first half. It was a great crossfield ball from Ekpateta. It reminded me a bit of Evo. I don't know if anyone remembers this. It was a Hollywood crossfield diagonal all the way. I think it went to Hamilton on the right-hand side. He had the ball in the corner flag, pretty much. And he drilled it all the way back. I don't know if you remember. He did he kind of played the diagonal back to where it came from. It was hilarious. It was comical almost. You've both got blank looks on your faces.
I think I was buffering at this point.
I'm not remembering that. I mean, honestly,
I
thought the first half was pretty forgettable on the whole. Yeah. It was like Harrogate was sitting back. It looked like they'd been told to sit back and try a ball over the top. Let Blackpool come out here, and then we were sitting back waiting for them to come out, and it was a non-event, I think, on the whole. From what I could see, which wasn't very much, I'm tipping my iPad around trying to get that angle so I can actually see what's going on, and then I realized actually no, they've got torches for floodlights is what the problem is.
Yeah, there was that as well, wasn't there? There was a terrible. Someone put on our WhatsApp chat, didn't they? That scene off Partridge where he creates his own lighting out of a bicycle wheel with torches upside down.
It was a bit like that, wasn't it? Yeah, needed to go full beam.
But yeah, you missed this diagonal from Ekpateta. It was superb. Anyway, on to the second half. Someone just Marcus is just asking, has Tim bottled the debate today? No, Marcus, he's having a family meal at 6:30, apparently. There's a bit of chat going on Twitter. I think Marcus is always stuck up for Ward. But yeah, I think Mr. Ward has proved his doubters wrong today, but we'll go on to that in the second half, which is now, Nick. Blackpool started the second half on fire. A goal from a corner. You're looking like you've missed by the way you're looking. You're looking to say, was that another buffering event, was it?
That was, I missed the first, I think it was 7 or 8 minutes of the half. Completely lost feed. And lo and behold, it came back up and then we were 1-0 up. Oh. So I can't really contribute much here other than hearing that it was Garbutt. Was it straight from a corner?
Yeah,
I think it took a deflection off a Harrogate player, but it was basically straight from the corner, in swinger from the right hand side, and just went through a bunch of bodies and bundled into the net. I didn't see who got it in, but that's Garbutt delivering, right? We didn't see much of that in the first half, but those set pieces definitely made the difference in the second, didn't they?
It's great to see in swinging corners and set pieces, because we were bemoaning this on the last show, weren't we? Kai floating those pointless floated balls into the box. So it was good to see them trying something new, and I think having Garbutt back, it's a real boost for us, particularly down that wing. So it was good to see us score. Happened after that, double save. Who remembers this? Did you see this one, Nick?
I did, yes. I think I just got my stream back when this, particularly the second, I just thought it was in. I couldn't believe it. He made, to be fair, I know we won't give an opposition player our man of the match, but he'd be a contender for it, wouldn't it? He made, I think, 5 or 6 saves throughout the game that were really, really good. And that one in particular, those two, should I say. He did really, really well. We'll be disappointed not to score, but sometimes you just got to hold your hands up and say it was a great reaction save, which it was.
So James Belshaw, this was Jeff on 58 minutes, double save. Madine coming in down the right hand side. Not the best of shots. Maybe should have made the keeper do a bit more than he did, but he got the save away. Palmed it out to Hamilton. You thought goal all over this, and somehow adjusted his body, and I don't know how he got it. Just like Nick said.
Yeah, it was like Nick said, it was like a complete reaction save. You could ask him, and he probably wouldn't be able to tell you. It just happened. But yeah, great couple of saves there.
Shame we've not got Fenners on here. Did any of you two listen to the Friday night show? We had the Harrogate keeper on. He'd have appreciated that one.
Yeah.
But it wasn't long until we doubled our lead. Just a minute later, Nick, a superb goal from Mr. Ward, 59 minutes.
Yeah, shades of his goal away at Crewe, I thought. Ball's come out to him. I think it was from a corner, was it? And edge of the box, a few bodies in front of him, but got over the top of it, struck it well, and and it flew in. And I thought he had we'll come on to man of the match, but I thought he had a really good game today. I think, we've talked about who's going to end up that pairing with Kenny Dougal, because I think he'll be the one who more often than not is starting. And I think they both complement each other really well. I think he brings out the best in Dougal, and Dougal brings out the best in Ward. And we've talked previously, he doesn't always impose himself enough on games, but I thought today, particularly second half, that's probably one of his best performances for him, and it was a well-deserved goal and very, very well taken.
Jeff, as Nick's just said there, Ward's kind of growing into his skin a bit more in the midfield there, isn't he? And I think it does help that he's not got, I don't know, if we've got Robson and Dougal in the same team, the more sort of defensive midfielders, aren't they? It's a lot better having Grant Ward in there, sort of making incisive runs, looking to move the ball quickly and make things happen.
Yeah, exactly. He played really well today, and I've been the first one to, point out, especially in some of the earlier season matches, like he seemed just to be taking up space on the field, and just he was passing it short, passing it back. Didn't really seem to be doing anything productive early season, but he really had a good game today. And you're right, Nick, it was another one from a corner. It came out to Ward on the edge of the box, and just like Crewe, slammed it home.
So we've got quite a few people in the chat saying Ward was great today, man of the match performance by AMAC. MB, they're all like MCs, all these people. MB, AMAC, Steve H. Ward was great, man of the match. Keshi just nicks it for me. Ward was brilliant after his goal. Forgot Keshi played, actually. How do you think Keshi played today, Nick? Went under the radar almost.
He did a bit. I thought he did pretty well, though. And I think, again, particularly second half, when I think us scoring early in the second half, it just opened the game up a bit more, didn't it? And allowed us to create a few more chances and suited our style of play. So, there's a few. We'll come on to it at the end. There's a few contenders that have been mentioned there.
From MB, that's where we want Ward, just the edge of the box or anything that comes to him. He's best from that range. It was the way he controlled the ball for me, Jeff. And lesser players would have just panicked. I think they'd either miscontrolled it or just smashed it over. He's very relaxed, isn't he? The way he plays the game.
Yeah, that area of the pitch seems to be right in his comfort zone, right? When it comes to him, he doesn't panic.
Okay, where are we now? So that was that goal, 65 minutes. Racing through these. Belshaw save from Hamilton, Nick, which the cameraman wasn't quick enough with. Don't know if you remember this one. Hamilton's drill. I think it's Hamilton's on the edge of the box, and he's drilled it into the keeper's bottom right corner. Keeper's got down and saved it, and the cameraman's just like that and missed it. So yeah.
Yeah. Again, another.
Can anyone see that? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, he thought the keeper did well. He good connection from Hamilton, and decent save from the keeper.
We've got another one on 71 minutes. Hamilton, good chance following break. That was another one when he was coming in from the left as we're looking at it, and a tame shot into the keeper's hands, but he was causing problems all day, wasn't he, Hamilton, when he's on the right, or he was cutting in on the left, switching wings, and just causing problems for them all day.
He was, yeah. And another good break. One thing that I know we we threw it away on Tuesday. But one thing that did come up that was pretty impressive was that link-up play on a breakaway. It seems like it's just starting to click now, where people know, the one player knows where the other's going to be. They put it in the channel. It's earlier in the season, it was like you think you're going left and the ball goes right. So it looks like it's starting to click now. So it's good to see that.
I think that's a decent point, Nick, that Jeff just raised there. We do look dangerous now in the break. And I did notice that we look to, even in tight situations in defence, Labala did it, I noticed today. Lesser players would have just hoofed it out, but it looks like there's a clear plan to hit teams hard and fast on the break. And there was one particular time today when Labala were on the hoof and he picked out a man and bang, 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 we were away. So we do look like we're looking to click, as Jeff said there.
Yeah, it's definitely starting to come together. And like you say, on Tuesday night, as poor as it was second half, some of the link-up play and the breakaway play was fantastic. And it's, when you've got pace like that in the team, that's what you need to use it for. And we are starting to gel really well in that respect. And I think it'll be a feature of, the season where if teams are pushing up, we can just rely on that breakaway, give it to the quick players and we're up the pitch in, 5 seconds flat. It's great to see, and it's, long may it continue.
What do you think of Labala when he came on? How do you think he played?
I'm glad he got on. And again, I think he's just one who maybe needs a bit more game time. I think it'll have done him good, that performance in the Pizza Cup against Leeds.
The pizza
he's
box.
A funny one. Sometimes he'll do something that leaves you scratching your head, and then he'll have a flash of brilliance. And I think he's that type of player where it'll be, there's probably no in the middle. It's one thing or the other with him. And, we might fall over and then 2 seconds later just absolutely dazzle you and with a great piece of skill. Again, he's another one he's still a bit raw and he's still young, isn't he? So, but I think there's potential there. He's probably not a starter week in, week out, but I think
good
as
option.
the season goes, particularly a game like today where he can come on and stretch it a bit. I think he's probably an impact sub when the game's not wrapped up, but you're in a comfortable position. I think definitely.
I think Jeff Labala, I think he's a big confidence player for me. I don't know if you saw the Leeds game when we played Leeds in 21s. He absolutely bossed that game.
He was different class, wasn't he?
Yeah. So, what do you think of Labala?
He just needs more time. He's not ready for the first team. I don't think he does have some potential, but I think maybe same as with Marvin. We've brought a couple of players that they'll definitely benefit from more game time, and they're going to benefit from more time period, like getting coached by Critch for a year. I think we're going to see a different player, and I think obviously we don't know how much money we paid for all these players, but I think the idea is we're picking them up from lower divisions for smaller amounts of money and planning on Critch coaching them up and selling them on. So I think he's got a good future. He's just not quite there yet.
So we've just had a quick comment coming in from Jex Chan, who says, do you think Dan Kemp should be starting more? Over to you, Tina. When did he? I didn't even notice he'd come on.
Yeah, he did.
The first time I noticed he was on the pitch, but he scored.
Yeah. I like Kemp from what, the bits we've seen of him. I don't think you end up at West Ham without having something about you. And he's probably just lucky that there's a couple of players ahead of him or in the same position as him who are starting more games. So he'll get his chance. Is
he on loan?
Yes.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Today's perhaps the day he's got to be starting him, really, just to get a proper look at him.
Yeah, I thought he might have started today because I think he's a player who wants to be on the ball. I think he can make things happen. He looks quite exciting. It's just, like I say, there's a couple of other players who are probably going to be starting ahead of him in league games.
I think you're looking at Kemp or Ward in that kind of role.
Yeah, potentially. But, like we keep saying, it's Tuesday, Saturday, isn't it? And Christmas isn't far off where there's plenty of games. So I'm sure he will get a chance. He can't do much more than come on and score, can he? And he scored in the last game he started against Leeds. So I think he's just got to keep working hard and he'll get his chance at some point.
Jeff, Steve H has made a good comment there. Actually, he should have started ahead of Woodburn today.
It's a fair shout.
It's a fair shout, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you can say that after the game. I don't think Woodburn was really firing, but whether Kemp should be starting, I don't know. But I would definitely say he needs to be playing more. I'd rather see him given like a half hour here or there rather than. He's had a bunch of appearances like 5-10 minutes to go. I mean, what do you expect him to do in 5 or 10 minutes?
Yeah, it's a decent shout. So hopefully we see a bit more of Kemp. So thanks, Edge, for your question. Decent question. Marcus says, agree, Kemp should get more game time, very lively, and makes things happen. Right, as the game got into its final period, final 10 minutes, we had a chance where Gary Madine blazed one over. Ball in from the right-hand side. He controlled the ball well. Got a shot away net, which was just unfortunate to see blaze over the bar. I've maybe been a bit harsh there in that description.
Yeah, he'll probably be disappointed he didn't hit the target there. I thought he had a decent game again today, Gary Madine. He's he's fully fit now. You can tell that, and he's just a focal point, isn't he? He keeps defenders busy, and I think that allows, obviously, like Yates wasn't playing today, but other players to create chances, and he's probably one of the first names on the team sheet. Which at the start of the season, we from what we'd seen, we probably didn't think that would be happening, but he's absolutely key to us. So yeah, thought he had a good game.
Jeff, your thoughts on Madine today?
He had a really good game. This chance in particular, I know it went over the bar. Actually, I think it might have went over the stand as well. But it's not
hard though at that stadium, though, is it? To be fair,
but I think he's a bootlace away from getting that on target and probably scoring. It was a real small difference between slicing it over and hitting the back of the net. So I'm not going to hold that against him. He did some good work to get the shot off.
We had. So 3 minutes later, the disappointment turned into joy as Luke Gabriel, as Chizzy said in the first half, scored after Mitchell hits the post. So the build-up to this goal, Nick, a sublime ball from Ward into the path of Mitchell, ran onto the ball, got his shot away, decent beat the keeper, come back on the post, and Luke Gabriel was there to knock it in. Yeah, it's a sublime ball from Mr. Ward, wasn't it?
It was. That was the key part of it. That pass was just across the park, absolutely inch perfect. Mitchell, he got it across the keeper, which is what you'd ask someone to do in that situation. Unlucky for it not to go in, and Gabriel was following up, and I thought he had a really good game. I think he gives us.
I like him.
Yeah,
I've been impressed with him. Apart from that first game, he's impressed me every time he's come on.
Yeah, and we can forgive him for that.
You are rusty, aren't you, when you're coming into a new team and new setup?
It was. We were all over the place then, weren't we? But you can tell he's a decent player, and good to see him get on the score sheet. Yeah, well deserved.
So your boy Ward, Jeff, setting that goal up. So it must have. Give you a lot of pleasure seeing that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's at the point where I'm like, how can you give man of the match to anyone else? I mean, I know we're not there yet, but in my mind, I think it's probably a two-way tie for man of the match. But for this goal, I was actually listening on a different stream to the rest of you, so I had Radio Yorkshire, I think. So I signed up direct through the Harrogate website. I couldn't figure out how to do it on the Blackpool one. They announced this was Dougal's goal.
They did. I was listening to it as well.
Like, well, they both have blonde hair, but there's a little difference between. And I know it's a little dark out, but still.
Should say I signed him up for Radio Lancs. I mean, Chizzy getting him. They were very biased, that commentary team. I thought they were crying at the end almost, weren't they? About a couple of fouls that were going in. They were raging about that red card, but we'll come on to that now, which was on 90 minutes, and Nick, over this challenge, it looked like a red card to me. Was he the last man? If he wasn't the last man, would he have got sent off?
I think as soon as it happened, I think you look at his reaction, and he knew the red card was coming. Gary Madine's, getting away, and he trips him up. It was husband-esque, wasn't it? It's a red card for me. I think whether people would have got back or not, I just think it. I think it was definitely.
It wasn't as bad as the challenge on Hamilton against Peterborough, was it, Jeff? And that was a yellow.
I know. I was just
It's
thinking
like an assault, wasn't it, on Hamilton?
that was delivered with intent, wasn't it? I think this was clearly, we just got.
I mean, if you're taking it in the context of the game, about last minute of the game's over, doesn't really matter. Give me yellow, but I suppose you've got to go by the letter of the law.
It was a red. I think it was pretty clearly a red, and I did feel sorry for them. They're getting beat by 4 at home, and then they get someone sent off. It's like it's the 90th minute. You got a minute or 2 left. Leave them on the pitch, give them a yellow. You could easily have thought that too, but on the face of it, it was a red card. So I think it was a fair decision.
Steve's just dropped another decent comment in the chat. You should become a content producer for this show, Steve. Got some good questions. Do we think he should start? Just going back to Gabriel, yeah. Do we think we should start ahead of Turton? It's a good question. It's a tough one.
Yeah, I think Turton's probably the more solid defensive option, but I think I would start him more because I just think he gives us so much more going forward, and he's not that he can't defend, so he just needs a bit of a run of games, I think. But I think Critchley probably prefers Turton.
Viewers, just drop a comment into the chat. Let us know what you think. Turton or Gabriel starting against Pompey on Tuesday night. I'm going for Gabriel as well. I agree with Nick there, Jeff, that he offers more as an attacking threat, but Turton is Mr. Reliable. So what's your thoughts on that?
I think it's horses for courses, really, because you've got Mitchell and Gabriel, the kind of quote-unquote flying wingers or wing-backs. Gabriel's come on a bit more defensively. Mitchell seems more like a left-sided midfielder or a winger to me than a fullback. But then you've got Husband and Garbutt as like defensive choices on the left, and you've got probably Husband more than Garbutt, and then Turton's just Mr. Reliable. So it really depends on the opposition. I think when you have Mitchell and Gabriel, we're super unsteady defensively because their instinct is just to go forward. So it was a good mix today with Garbutt being a little bit more defensive minded, I think, and Gabriel getting forward more.
The answers to the listeners are pretty comprehensive. They're all saying for Turton. So Marcus says no. Bison's raised a decent point there. League 2 opposition today and very limited. And B says Turton every ball, Turton every day. So we've had that one before. Steve says Gabriel for me, but I do like Turton. Every team needs a steady Eddie, decent point. Bison's again says Turton is reliable at getting skin. Michael Haig, I think Gabriel's a better option than Turn on all. I think Gabriel's a better option than Turn on all. Turn, I think it means, yeah. So I thought the word murder, blah, 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 blah. He seems a bit like a crab player. What are your thoughts on Ward? I think we've just given them Michael, but thanks for your comments. I think, yeah, it's depending who your opposition is, I think if you're playing a better team, you want a bit of consistency, solidity, yeah. You stick with Turton, but if you want a bit more attack and flair down the right, you go with Gabriel. It's nice to have the options, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Right, and the final event of the game was Mr. Kemp, Nick, with his goal, just coming in the far post.
Yeah, good to see him get on the score sheet again. Is it from the left-hand side? Our left-hand side cross came over, just dropped. It was pretty much on the goal line, wasn't it? I think from memory.
Couldn't have missed.
Couldn't really miss. But you've got to put it away, haven't you? And again, it gives Critchley something to think about, doesn't it? When your subs come on and score. So
I'm just trying to think, Jeff. Was it like a kind of a looped ball from the left-hand side, and it just somehow ended in front of Kemp's?
Yeah, I was trying to think like how it got delivered. Was it?
Yeah, I am.
Was it
crap analysis? This listeners, viewer.
If I remember, I think it was Garbutt again, wasn't it, with a free kick?
It was, yes, yeah. It was a free kick, kind of floated to the back stick, yeah. So
it was, yes, you're correct, yeah. I thought Garbutt's delivery throughout the game was great, and if he can cement a place down, it's it's something we've talked about all season, isn't it? How poor at times set pieces have been. If we can get that delivery into the box time and time again, it's another option for us, isn't it? And
yeah, absolutely. I was thinking the same thing.
So you've got to be thinking then next game. He's got some decisions to make in both full-back positions. Husband, again, he's a steady Eddie, but at times he's a liability and is not as much as a threat going forward as Luke Garbutt. So it'll be interesting to see who he picks this Tuesday. Right, on to man of the match. Nick, lays away.
A few contenders. I think Garbutt, we've just talked about, was very, very good. Gabriel was good. Madine had a decent performance. CJ did what he always does and got into some great positions. But I think overall, I'm going to give it to Ward. I thought that was probably his best game for us, albeit, it's against League Two. But I thought he looked really good there alongside Dougal, and some great passes and a goal to boot as well. So I would go for Grant Ward.
Okay, everybody on the stream, get your man of the matches in. You may have entered these before in previous comments, but it's all scrolled down now, so I've missed them. So get your man of the match declarations in now, and we'll get through as many as we can. Jeff, your thoughts on the man of the match today?
My first reaction before the match even finished, I think, that delivery from Ward toward the end of the match sealed it for me. It was like point perfect pass. I'm like, he can't. That was my first reaction, to give it to Ward. But then as I'm thinking about it, Garbutt, we wouldn't have won that match 4-0 if it wasn't for Garbutt and those set pieces. So I think I'm with Nick. I'm gonna go with Ward, but it was really between those two. One thing that I'm really looking forward to is a full strength Kai coming back with Garbutt delivering the set pieces, because you shouldn't be having Kai taking corners. If you got Garbutt taking corners and set pieces and you got Kai in the middle, you've got another shot at getting some goals there. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah. So, God, it's a tough one. It's Gabriel, Garbutt or Ward for me. I'm going to go for Garbutt because of Jeff, what you've just said there swung it for me. His delivery from set pieces just adds a complete dimension to this team, and it's exactly what we've been needed and what we've been missing. So Garbutt for me, very, very closely followed by Grant Ward. So let's just go quickly down the list, see what else we've got. Steve says CJ, man of the match. Nick, that's CJ's kind of floated under the radar on this conversation. He was very busy today, wasn't he?
He was, and he always is. He gets a lot of the ball. He beats his man more often than not. I think just sometimes what can let him down is that final delivery, that decision making when he's in such a good position. But yeah, he's certainly a contender. He's a contender most games, isn't he?
Yeah,
he doesn't really ever have an average game because he gets so much of the ball and he's got such great pace. And when he does get nullified, it's more because they put 2 or 3 on him. So. There
was that one time when he got down the right hand side, cut inside onto his left foot and trying to play a pass, a crossfield pass, and it went out for a throw in on the other side. Everyone remembers that.
Yeah.
They were quite scathing. They were quite scathing of that on the Harrogate commentary, weren't they, Jeff? If you remember.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, but we won 4-0, so stick that up your arses. Anyway. Garbutt from Steve H, very good too. Michael Haig. Ward seems fully match fit today and showing signs of the player we know he can be. Marcus McCard, I'd like to know Tim's man of the matches. Tim isn't here, Marcus. I think a bit of ribbing there for Tim. Robson for Tim, as Steve H has said. Perhaps Tim is with Robson today. I bet he's watching this, Tim. I bet he's watching this, isn't he?
Tim has taken a hell of a beating.
He has. Sam Fielding, can you hear? Probably on his filet mignon main course at the moment, isn't he? Washed down with what's a vintage red wine, Nick?
Well, plenty of probably having a Beaujolais knowing Timothy.
Match predictions on the Friday night show. We're going to try and remember these. Mark, my brother, said 2-2 Pool on Pens. Venice said 1-1 Town on Pens. Tim said 3-1. Tom said 3-1 and I said 2-1. So we're all pretty much correct apart from the Harrogate fan, which isn't surprising, really. Just found a word from Bison's. He said Ballard was superb too. So let's get that off. Get
Fair shout, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they were a big team. That is something I did notice about them. They had, quite a few.
Becky was called.
Number 9 was a big guy, wasn't he?
He was pointed out on the Friday night preview show, Nick, how big this centre half was.
Yeah, they did have some big lumps in there. So, yeah, Ballard played well.
We completely forgot he was playing. Ballard.
He's normally man of the match, isn't he, when he plays?
Yeah. Right, just coming to the end of the show now. Next up, we've got Pompey away on Tuesday.
Is it away or is it home?
So at home, sorry. Yeah, it's at home. Tough game, Nick. How do you think it's going to go?
Yeah.
A nice boost for confidence going into that game?
Well, it should be, yeah. I think it gets Tuesday night against Doncaster out of the system, doesn't it?
Beat Kings Lynn 6-1 today. Sorry to interrupt. 6-1. So
they're
on fire.
They are. But, we go into it with confidence. We know what we can do when we perform. If we can be defensively solid, I think there will be obviously some changes from today. And, we should go into the game with confidence, and there's no reason why we can't pick up 3 points. Yep. It's going to be tough, but they're not unbeatable. So I'm gonna be confident and optimistic, and I'm gonna go 2-1 to Pool.
So I type this into the next doc. Jeff, you give us yours. He's on the screen again after the show.
Tuesday. It's going to be a tough one, but I'm going to go 2-2.
2. What did you say, Nick, again? Sorry.
2-1 Pool.
Pool. Go 3-2 Pool. Listeners, I keep saying listeners. Viewers, how do you think the game's going to go? Just drop your comments in before we go. Get as many of those on the screen as possible.
Just before we do go, John, who do we want in the third round?
That's a decent shout, actually. It's Monday.
Yep, Monday night.
I think there's only one obvious answer for me, but I'll let you two answer first to see if you're on a similar wavelength.
Go on after you, Jeff.
Go on, Jeff.
I want the best chance of getting through. If we can get this through to the third round, to the fourth round, to the fifth round, maybe we've got some fans back in the ground there. So I'm pulling for home against Canvey Island for the next.
Are they in the hat? Are they in the hat?
I think they're playing tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd echo that and say somebody who we can hopefully beat at home or away. I think it'd be it'd be criminal if we get, normally the third round, you want that big draw, don't you? Because you have a chance of being there and playing against a big team, but we're not going to be there. So I don't want to be sat trying to watch iFollow when we're playing Liverpool or Man United or something.
And it's not a big payday either.
It's not a big payday, and we can't be there. If we draw,
it's a completely different. It's a different perspective on it now, isn't it? The fact that
it is because
no one's going to be there, and it's not a money spinner.
Exactly, and you've not got the day out if it's a decent away game. If we got Preston or something, and so
I was thinking that. I was thinking Preston, but now once again Jeff's changed my mind. So who do you want then, Nick?
We'll have to say I don't know who's left in it yet, but whoever the lowest ranked team is, surely
home or away
tomorrow. It doesn't really matter, does it? Again, home and away, there's no crowds in, so I think it's a bit of a level of that, isn't it? Really, I'm not sure there's home advantage particularly. It's just nice to be in it. It's nice to be in the draw, isn't it?
It's like I say, you'd normally say the Nobbers at this stage. That's what I was going to say, but we're not going to be there, are we? I'll tell you about. How about this then? The lowest ranked team that's currently in the draw away that is in tier 2 restrictions. That's who we want. because we might be able to go. Oh no, it's an away game, isn't
No,
it?
you can't.
Well, the bit
Can't
of away
travel,
fans in.
can you?
No, you can't.
No. We are not going to see it, John. Not live, anyway.
It changes the calculation completely, doesn't it, when there's no crowds in? Because I'd love to have like a throwback to when I was watching regularly in the early 90s and having Preston or Burnley or Bolton. But, you know, Preston, unfortunately, didn't they lose?
They lost today, but it was a league game, wasn't it?
The league,
Yeah.
Well, either way.
It's been a good day. Yeah.
Lose any game, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's been a good day. Burnley got beat 5-0. The Nobbers got beat 4-1. And my mate Steve, who's a big Oxford fan, they lost 2-1 against Swindon with 5 minutes to go after being 1-0 up in 85 minutes. So that was good. Right, everybody on the stream, we're just about to go now. So if you're watching this on YouTube, do like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us get a bit more exposure on there. And once we get over, I think we get to about 1,000 subs, we get more content on there. We can do more things. So please do like this now. Please do subscribe, and we'll just we'll sign off.
Do a post Pompey podcast, John, on Tuesday.
We are, yeah, of course we are, yeah. 6:06 after every game. Yeah, thanks for reminding me there, Nick. So do tune in Tuesday night, listeners, 9 p.m. 6:06 match reaction show. So thanks a lot, Jeff, for coming on this evening. You've saved us with Tim sacking us off for his middle class dinner.
No worries.
Thanks, Nick. 15, love.
You cannot be serious, man.
Ties in with Jeff. So thanks everybody for watching this stream. Really appreciate all your comments. It makes the show better and more interesting. So thank you very much. Thanks for downloading the audio pod. And all that remains to be said. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for listening. And up the pool.
Up the pool.
Up the pool.